Hi, my name is Vampyr, and let's start with Solar Ash. Boop, 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 boop. Some of you may know the game named Hyper Light Drifter, so Solar Ash is another game from these creators. Here you lose yourself in a high-speed, gravity-bending world. Set on a surreal dreamscape filled with long-abandoned ruins of mysterious civilizations, you will take the role of a Void Runner, determined to stop at nothing to save your planet. You will fight through hordes of creepy creatures, grind rails and grapple to wild heights in attempts to take down enormous bosses. People on Steam are saying that this is a fantastic platformer with unique gameplay and easy-to-learn mechanics. Very positive review score confirms that with ease. And now let me present to you a next-generation fantasy RPG available on both PC and mobile, which is absolutely free to play and also is a sponsor of this video, Watcher of Realms. Here you'll find over 200 heroes with immersive backstories to discover across 10 distinct factions, offering limitless tactical combinations to showcase your strategic ingenuity in real-time battles. Now Watcher of Realms introduces a new tactician class and brand new heroes, Boredom and my favorite Vampyr. When unleashing the ultimates, they can instantly reposition themselves to buff allies, reduce enemies' magic resistance and defense, and knock them back. Also, a bunch of exciting events packed with generous rewards will be launched during the 2nd anniversary celebration. You can join multiple in-game activities and log in daily to earn 119 summons and rewards for free, including a legendary hero Astrael, skins, emotes, and many more. You will challenge powerful bosses and earn even more rewards, join guilds, fight alongside teammates, and maybe even make new friends. Also deploy heroes to defend your stronghold or attack enemy bases and reap the treasures of the game. The game is easy to learn for everyone and new players are quickly catching up with veterans using a variety of helpful tools. I already feel like a pro here. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to download Watcher of Realms for free now on PC, Android and iOS. Now it's the best time to dive into the Watcher of Realms. Trust me, it's not your average RPG. Synergy. In this visually beautiful city builder, your goal is to build a town to help your citizens prosper. You will need to explore, analyze and experiment with new things, because the well-being of your citizens is the main objective. You don't want to be a moron dictator, we have plenty of those in real life. Here you will need a deep understanding of the environment to help them adapt and thrive. Newly acquired knowledge will provide you with an essential guide to obtaining resources, ensuring the safety of your people and optimizing your town. This quest for knowledge will also provide you access to several new buildings, from extraction structures to social spaces, from harvesting points to places of culture. People on Steam are saying that the art style is breathtaking. The game is charming and has very interesting features never seen in similar games. The review score is very positive, so most likely if you try the game, you will have fun. Vampyr. As I always say about this game, at the beginning here you will suck a lot. Not blood, you just suck in general because you are a recently transformed vampire newbie. And you know the fate of such newborn vampires in all the movies. They easily die by the hand of every protagonist. So with time you will become more and more powerful, as you have to survive and fight vampire hunters, undead and other supernatural creatures. Use your powers to manipulate and delve into the lives of those around you to decide who will be your next victim. You will like this game if you are into darker settings and like difficult moral choices, because your food here has different personalities. You may want to kill only bad criminals and not an innocent father of 2 sick kids, and sometimes you just need to feed and kill him anyway. You may think that,
hey, it's just a game, it doesn't matter.
But it's the same as with the dying pandas in Zoo Planet. They are not real, but the game still makes you feel like shit, so be sure that you like that kind of stuff. Knights Within. This is a very fun indie project where you will eradicate hordes of knights as another knight. The catch is that you have an automatic rifle and you can live your ultimate fantasy of having modern weapons in a medieval world. You know, we all had this thought. What if I had a rifle against knights in shining armor? How many can I take down before a very painful death occurs? Well, at least one, right? But it's you, and the game is difficult, so I wouldn't bet all my potato salad on that outcome. No offense. Anyway, he will embark on a procedurally generated missions to push back the threat. Progressing through a mission will grant you randomized modifiers for both you and your enemies. The longer you survive, the crazier the powers get, keeping each run fresh and unique. You can play alone or co-op with up to 3 friends. BLACKTAIL. Here the choice is yours. Will you become the guardian of the woods or the terror nightmares are made of? You play as Yaga, a 16-year-old girl accused of witchcraft and expelled from a medieval settlement. Well, I know what I would be doing after that. Definitely not helping poor folk from the aforementioned village to heal their sick cattle. No, I would rather secretly put pineapple in their potato salad. Also would turn all their delicious beer into milk.
Milk of a cat.
Yeah, milk of a cat or of a hamster. Anyway, he will decide the fate of the land and its inhabitants, and witness the impact of your decisions on your skills through an implemented morality system. People on Steam are saying that the game feels more mature than the visuals it provides, and the story is really dark and captivating. Greedfall Gold Edition. Here you'll have a complete freedom in character progression. Play as a male or female, customize your appearance and freely choose your abilities, spells and skills. But do not expect miracles, this is not a highest level RPG, although it looks like one. Greedfall was created in 3 years and its budget was about $5 million. For a AAA open world game like this, it's the bare minimum for it to be decent, so treat it more like a very expensive indie game instead. Somewhat similar budget had the Kingdom Come Deliverance team, and Skyrim's budget was about 100 million. For it you can literally create 20 games like Greedfall, so keep that in mind before you start comparing Greedfall with the giants of the genre. And this version, Greedfall Gold Edition, includes a DLC, so this is a better version of the game if you compare it with just the basic Greedfall. It is a decent game and, as I've said many times, I would give it about 7 cold beers out of 10. Trover saves the universe. This humoristic game is quite crazy, and there is why. Your dogs have been kidnapped by a lunatic named Glorcon, who stuffed them into his eye holes and is using their life essence to destroy the universe. It's hard to go more loco than that. It's possible, but hard. So you are partnered with Trover, a little purple eye-hole monster who isn't a huge fan of working or being put in the position of having to save the universe. He also kinda hates you as well. So there the mechanics kick in. You control Trover's movements, but not his mouth. He got a lot to say about what's going on in the game, and about you of course. The game has around 90% of positive reviews, so if you like humor, there is no escape. You should play it. So to spice up your curiosity, I will tell you that here you can kill with your thoughts. That should really grab your attention. If it grabs somewhere else, call the police. Inkulinati is an ink-based strategy game straight from medieval manuscripts, where a thought can be deadlier than a sword. You will take your turn in Inkulinati duels filled with unexpected tactical depth and humor.
Yeah, fart humor, very funny, haha.
Shut up, that is always funny. You'll embark on an ever-changing journey, build your own bestiary, defeat medieval superstars and collect perks to unleash special powers. And now it's the time when you must subscribe. It's the law, I have nothing to do with that. The penalty of not subscribing to my channel is a ban from Boobhala after you die. It's terrible, I know, so I guess you have to subscribe. 8-bit armies. If Command & Conquer spent the night with Minecraft, 9 months later 8-bit armies would be born. This is a fast-paced RTS, a very colorful strategy arcade game that is easy to learn for players of all skill levels, so even for you. Here you will collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of tanks and planes, and ultimately crush your opponents. Here you'll find 25 offline campaign missions, 12 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, and 10 multiplayer maps that support up to 8 players online. Although speaking about players online, you rarely find more than 10 in total, so if you want to play multiplayer or co-op, you will need a friend or some stranger from Discord. But if you don't have any friends, and of course you don't, keep in mind that the game also has pretty good AI you can play with or fight against. Not as good as Skynet, so it won't take over the world, but it can take over your dignity, so be sure you are up for the challenge. 8-bit armies is easy to understand and is user-friendly. Also, it is a really well-aged game. News cycle. Here, after an apocalyptic series of solar flares, human society has been thrown into chaos. You will have to establish a settlement and develop it all the way from humble beginnings to industrial metropolis. In other words, you are responsible for bringing civilization back and not letting smart beavers take control of the earth. Don't worry, that is another game, no beavers here. If you manage to achieve success, that is. The game will challenge you with sandstorms, shortages, wildfires and other disasters, so be prepared and always ready to to act quickly if you want your puny village to grow into a glorious cold Beeristan. Although nature is not your only enemy here. Refugee crisis, unrest, disease outbreaks, this list of what can go wrong is very long. So there is a huge chance that you will fail miserably. Terrible fate awaits you, doom and gloom and other scary words. V Rising. In this survival action RPG, you will awaken as a weakened vampire after centuries of slumber. You will hunt for blood in nearby settlements to regain your strength, while hiding from the scorching sun and aggressive garlic loaves. You will also have to rebuild your castle from ruins, and convert humans into your loyal servants in a quest to raise your vampire empire. People on Steam are saying that the combat here is largely dependent on skill and not on RNG, which is undoubtedly one of the best features of this game. Also, the co-op part of V Rising is made very well, so if you have a friend, you have my all recommendations to play this game together. And I literally mean together, not against each other, because the PvP part of the game is pretty boring, well, for now. Curse of the Dead Gods. This game is obviously oriented for the fans of Hades, or as one commentator on Steam said, Curse of the Dead Gods plays as Hades and looks like Darkest Dungeon. Honestly, it's a fair comparison. So in this game you will seek untold riches, eternal life and divine powers. It will lead you to this accursed temple, a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps and monsters. Well, the rest is self-explanatory. The game also introduces a cool mechanic of unique curses. They influence each attempt, putting a twist on every action. Although keep one thing in mind, you will have to parry a lot, and that Souls-like mechanic sometimes is very annoying. Otherwise, it's a great game. 86% of reviews on Steam are positive. Assassin's Creed Origins. Ancient Egypt, a land of majesty and intrigue, is disappearing in a ruthless fight for power. Ye will unveil dark secrets and forgotten myths as you go back to one founding moment, the origins of Assassin's Brotherhood. People are talking that this is one of the best Assassin's Creed games they have ever played. It has a great combat system, almost no bugs, and only bad comments are from grumpy old dudes who can't cope with the fact that this is now a role-playing game. Although I must admit that if you are not a fan of an ancient Egypt, this setting can seem a bit boring. Some settings are really overused and not interesting anymore. You know, like Egyptian, ancient Greek, Viking or Latvian mythology. Cataclismo. If you like city defense games, you should watch my video named Best 10 Games Like They Are Billions, but you won't find Cataclismo there because of how fresh and new it is. So here you will lead the last survivors in the aftermath of the world-ending event, as a corrupted force seeks to destroy all that remains of humanity. You will build fortresses brick by brick, designing intricate and towering structures of wood and stone, and of course use them to fend off waves of horrors as they attempt to overwhelm your band of brave warriors. And the coolest thing about the game is of course its highly modular building system, which allows you to design your fortresses as you desire, one piece at a time. You can use blueprints you have designed in advance, or use creations of other players. That is really awesome. Imagine meeting someone at the party and realizing that this is the creator of your favorite god tower.
You saved me from monsters, mister, so many times. Thank you!
Also, the graphic style and visuals are really awesome. Artsy, I would even say. Game has around 90% positive reviews, so if you like tower defense games, there aren't many better options. You have all my recommendations. Sker Ritual. So if you know the first part, it's nothing like that. Made of Sker was a stealth horror game, and Sker Ritual is actually quite the opposite. Here you will dive into the first-person shooting action like never before. Well, honestly, like many times before, but you know, it's nice. To shoot massive hordes of creepy stuff is always nice. So this is obviously an intense, round-based zombie shooter. You can play it alone or up to 4 players online, and face relentless waves of enemies while at the same time solving mysterious missions, uncovering Easter eggs, upgrading steampunk weapons, and obtaining a vast network of Celtic gods' powers. Game has a very positive review score on Steam, and people who play the game in the comments are often saying that Sker Ritual was above the expectations. It is a very solid game to just have tons of fun. Titan Station. This is a retro sci-fi adventure that takes us far into the future, in the year of 1999. Yeah, the retro future is in the past, but somehow we have all these wonderful things we managed to achieve with the technology of the past. A really cool genre reminding us of all these science fiction novels we have read in our teens. So here you are, a systems operator, casual worker of the space station. But after arriving, your mundane work turns into a struggle for your very life as you make a shocking discovery. You have to believe me here, because this is not a channel of spoilers. Most of the time. Well, half of the time. Still, that counts. Subscribe. Anyway, the station is connected to Saturn's moon Titan by an elevator and pipeline system. Really cool concept. Here you won't find any combat, and the game itself will take about 4 hours to complete. If you liked games like The Invincible, Outer Wilds or Observation, Titan Station is your spoon of potato salad. More than 90% of reviews on Steam are positive. Lost in Play. This is a journey across childhood imagination, with thoughtfully created puzzles and interesting characters. You play as a brother and sister duo on an adventure to find your way back home. Between reality and fantasy, you will explore the enchanted forest of a horned beast, start a rebellion in a goblin village, and do many things that are considered doubtful in our part of the galaxy. The game is filled with interesting, never-before-seen puzzles. For example, you will challenge a pirate seagull to a game of clicking crabs, serve magical tea, and collect pieces to build a flying machine. Why do you need a flying machine? Well, I would never spoil that for you. If you watch the animated series named Over the Garden Wall, this game has very similar vibes. If you never watched Over the Garden Wall, you should. Like, it's a must-watch animated feature. You will thank me later. And the game, yeah, overwhelmingly positive review score shines really brightly and lures you in like an angler's lamp. Tannenberg. The game brings the massive battles of the Eastern Front and the First World War to life, with 64 players fighting for control of key sectors of the battlefield, each one offering a distinct strategic advantage. Here you'll find authentic atmosphere with accuracy in everything, from maps and weaponry to uniforms. The game has great tactical squad-based FPS, players Romanian, Latvian, Austro-Hungarian, German or Bulgarian. But I have to warn you that if you don't have 64 friends, just forget about those 64 player battles. The last update was a year ago, and there's like 30 people online averagely at all time. Still, the price is nice, and so is the game. Ancestors' Legacy. This is a real-time strategy game influenced by historical events of the Middle Ages. Ancestors' Legacy combines resource management and base building with large-scale squad-based battles across vast battlefields. It is all rendered in great detail with Unreal Engine 4. You'll experience medieval bloodshed and can enjoy a cinematic action camera that puts you right in the middle of the battle. People on Steam are saying that Ancestors' Legacy is easy to learn and it's like chess. It involves a lot of strategy, so the more you play, the better you become. Basically, here a lot of options to crush the enemy lie in the plain sight, but only the master strategist can see them all. So the more you play, the easier the game will seem. Or not, you know, we all have our limits, and sometimes our limit is below the requirements of a victory. Bonfire Peaks. There is a big chance that you have never heard about this game, but in my channel I am famous for digging up hidden treasures like this. Bonfire Peaks is a puzzle game where you will navigate various environmental riddles in a beautifully designed world. One of the things that was really surprising for me was how much time people have spent playing this game. The medium ground would be around 40 hours, but I have seen several dudes with more than 100 hours of playtime. The game itself has above 90% positive reviews. Even the dude who gave a negative review has 34 hours on record. I guess he's a masochist of some sort. You know, usually when I don't like something, I don't participate in that activity for 34 hours. Just saying, but who am I to judge? Anyway, this is a very clever game with interesting puzzle mechanics that won't let you dive into boredom. Also, you can play the demo version on Steam absolutely free.
Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden.
Despite the fact that this is a single-player game, here you will play as a ghost hunter couple who vow to protect the living from the threat of lingering ghosts and specters. In a disastrous last mission, the woman was fatally wounded, becoming one of the spirits. So in the haunted wilds of North America, the couple desperately searches for a way to liberate her from the curse. Basically, the game copies the main aspect of The Witcher. You hunt monsters as your main profession, although the gameplay is more similar to God of War. So in the process, you will immerse yourself in a beautiful story between two fated lovers. As witches, banishers, you will enter the lives of simple communities and solve haunting cases in a mythical, lore-rich world plagued with supernatural creatures and ancient secrets. Sounds cool, and the general public mainly agrees by giving it above 80% positive review score. Death in the Water 2. I've been eyeballing this game for a long time now. It looks like a very nice shooter game set in an original underwater environment. Here you will dodge and carve your way through swarms of terrifying sea creatures, controlled by a vicious, giant, mind-controlling kraken that haunts your every move. You will scavenge for hidden treasure to unlock weapons and upgrades, but the environment of this game will make sure that every dive reveals a new nightmare. As you investigate ruins, wrecks and reefs, the tension escalates. The marine life mirrors real behavior, with sharks and creatures remaining passive unless provoked. So don't splash the water and don't pretend to be a seal. Honestly, this advice is legit not only in this game, but also in real life, except if you are attending a gathering of people who pretend to be seals, which is a very popular thing in Estonia, for example. I'm not joking. So the game features a campaign, also survival and free roam modes. People on Steam are saying that this game is very detailed and is suitable for almost every first-person shooter horror fan. The only bad thing is, if you get motion sickness easily, then avoid. Diplomacy is not an option. You will build walls, raise armies, and experience warfare on an epic scale. And that is not just a fancy figure of speech. You will face over 25,000 enemies assault your castle walls. If you hope to survive and defend your city so it would become as glorious as Beristan itself, you are going to master engineering, economy, and even magic. Although there is one problem: you are not a king, just a minor lord without much power. Your king, on the other hand, is a mighty and powerful leader, and also he's a total moron. He drinks warm milk instead of beer, eats only well-done steaks, and puts pineapple in his potato salad.
Blasphemy!
None of these things are true, but he's bad, I promise. Trust me. Have I ever lied to you? Well, I did, but not this time. So the king raised taxes one day to, let's say, buy more pineapples, and now peasants who are not fond of raised taxes and emerging hunger are rioting in your part of the kingdom. King demands to wipe out the rebellion and go to the distant land to get some gold. Will you do as he says, or will you command the armies of undead and wipe out, humanity instead? Yeah, this game is wild and fun. A very positive review score is achieved by votes cast by thousands of players. God and Story. This is a social sim and adventure RPG where you play as Concord, a newly appointed village guardian. There is lots to keep you busy. Not only your neighbors need assistance, but a mysterious rot has seeped into the foundations of once flourishing island. Honestly, that part of the story is a shameful ripoff from yonder Cloudcatcher Chronicles, or from a never-ending story. Although that doesn't really matter, because this game is really different in many other aspects. Anyway, he will help your friends with their struggles, and they will help you through yours. You know that raging addiction to pineapples in your potato salad will not go away by itself. You need help. So here you'll have to balance caring for the environment, exploring new regions, and fostering new friendships as you solve puzzles and help restore the grove to glory. Necesse. Here you'll find an infinite procedurally generated world full of mysteries to uncover. As you grow your settlement, you will also lead expeditions against pirate kings, dragons, fallen wizards, and people who write in all caps. Here you can spend your days crawling through dungeons, searching for treasures and raw materials for equipment crafting. Also, you may answer the call to adventure, traversing the seas and seeking out great foes to test your prowess. Recruit settlers with particular skills and work alongside them to mine a wide variety of ores. Craft gear tailored to your preferred playstyle and establish a flourishing, amazing village. But knowing you, there is a big chance that your village will be puny and pathetic. No offense. Okay, a little offense. What are you gonna do, huh? Well, jokes aside, people are saying that the game looks simple, but it's actually really complex and fun. More than 90% of reviews are positive. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe.